Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're new here, my name is Rigel, and in this corner of the internet, I make design and lifestyle related videos. So if any of those topics interest you, consider subscribing down below. Spring's finally here. I'm so excited for the weather warming up because I'm totally done with winter weather. Like below 50 constantly, even having snow all the time and having to like bundle up all the time and then not having the sun out as much, like it was kind of getting a little depressing. So I'm excited for the spring. My favorite part of spring, of course, is the flowers. I love flowers blooming outside. The only thing that kind of gets me is the seasonal allergies, which I completely hate because I can't actually enjoy spring to the fullest extent. I can obviously watch the flowers bloom, but I have to watch it safely inside or behind a window. It's kind of unfortunate, really. I mean, if you have to deal with allergies, let me know in the comment section below so we can all just collectively, low-key complain to each other about how bad seasonal allergies are. But I mean, regardless of that, I like to try to bring elements of floral arrangements and like flowers inside the home, just little doses. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to make my lavender chocolate chip cookies. This recipe is easy to make. Like, it's really simple. I've made this quite a handful of times, and every single time I've tried this recipe, it's actually turned out really well. Like, honestly, I think this type of recipe that I do is probably one of my more better cookies that I have done throughout my amateur baking life. So if you're ready to bring springtime into your kitchen, let's begin.
The first thing you'll want to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're going to start with the dry ingredients. So first we're going to do half a cup of white sugar, and then we're going to have 1.5 cups of flour. Then add in your salt. Yes, I did say salt, so you'll want half a teaspoon of that. And then add some baking powder, which is a 1/4 teaspoon, and then some baking soda, which it will be half a teaspoon. Afterwards, you'll want to add chocolate chips. Now, there isn't really a preference that I go for, but I will say for this type of batch of cookies and the amount, I usually don't go more than a cup, but it's really up to you whether you want more or less. So then I usually go in with some brown sugar, which will be half a cup. However, I did not have brown sugar with me. In this case, I used a substitution of another half cup of white sugar, and I added a tablespoon of molasses, and trust me, it is actually really good. And it turns out, I think, even better than just brown sugar. But then I'm going to go over to my wets. So I'm going to start off with half a cup of melted butter, or closely melted butter. And then I'm going to add in some vanilla extract, which will be 1 teaspoon, and then we're going to add in 1 egg and just kind of stir that all together, make sure everything is kind of ready for it to go in with the dry ingredients. Oh, and we can't forget the most important part, the lavender buds, so I added 1 teaspoon of that. And once I do, we are going to mix in the wet and dry ingredients together. Now what I find is that after I start to kind of mix some things in with a spatula, the texture of this dough is a little bit crumbly, or I guess it doesn't really stick together as much as I would hope. It's probably partly due to the chocolate chips, so I end up switching over to working the dough with my hands, which is a lot easier, I find. Now the dough consistency that you're going to have is still going to be a bit crumbly, not really put together, but you don't have to worry about that because when you actually do start forming the dough balls, they actually stay in quite well. So then what you'll want to do after you mix everything in, go ahead and grab your cookie sheet, baking pan, and then what I like to do is just kind of grease up the pan with shortening. That way the cookies don't actually stick to the pan, but you can use other things as well, like wax paper or parchment paper, or you can even use those non-stick cooking sprays. And then now making the size of your cookies. I honestly don't have a way to tell you. I kind of just fill up as much as I can for my hand, and that seems to yield like 12 cookies. This recipe that I made usually is supposed to yield like 12 to 16 depending on like what size you go for, but based off my own hand size I end up making 12. I guess if you want to be a little bit more precise in everything, I would probably scoop it out with an ice cream scooper and then, you know, kind of just forming the dough in your hands a little bit better, so then that way it like ensures that it's actually going to stick together. And then once you have that all done, it is time to stick it in the oven. Now I put the baking time for 10 minutes, but you'll just want to kind of watch it because you want to make sure that it comes out that golden brown color. And after waiting, it is time to take it out.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. Ooh. Oh, this looks good. Okay. Oh, yummy, yummy. Perfect.
Once they're taken out of the oven, I know it is so tempting to already go ahead and pull it off of the baking sheet and eat it, but I will tell you these cookies will be piping hot and they will be super soft. So you'll want to kind of let it rest for at least 10 minutes, I want to say, before you try peeling it off and eating it.
It's finally ready. I'm excited to try it. I mean, like, obviously I know what it tastes like, so I'm already eager to jump right in and eat it. So we are going to do the taste test to make sure that I did it just as justice as I did the other times. Oh my gosh, it is so good. So tasty. Just how I remember it. I'm gonna give it a second before I should start talking so I'm not chewing the entire time. But okay, so these cookies turned out just exactly like how I wanted. Also, I actually waited and I was patient enough because it is still intact, fully just like how it should be, because honestly the last time I made it I was a little too eager and I took it out of the pan a lot sooner than it needed to, and because of that, the middle part of the cookie stayed on the pan and it was not as fun, but this stayed intact. So, flavor profile and texture. So, for the texture, the outside is a little bit crunchy, which I love, but then on the inside it's actually soft and like kind of like this gooey, chewy like texture in the middle. So it kind of like appeases both the crunchy and soft cookie people, whichever is your preference. Then because the cookie is still warm, I could actually feel it under my plate that it's still warm. The chocolate chips are more like melting in the mouth because like it's actually like melting in the middle while I bite into it. And then for the flavor, okay, it has all the flavors that I love. Okay, so first off is the warm vanilla sugar flavor. I just love warm vanilla everything, so obviously that's a huge win for me. Not only that, but you get to actually taste the dark chocolate chips coming through for the amount that I put inside. And then the best part, the most springtime part, is the lavender bites. Okay, so the flavor of lavender does come through the cookie. I actually taste it, but it isn't overpowering. Now, if you're the type of person, which I'm also that type of person, if you don't really like floral flavorings inside cookies, because I've actually had like other cookies from bakeries before, which has more of like an overwhelming floral, like fragrancy type of like smell and taste. You're not going to find that in the lavender chocolate chip cookie recipe that I have, because sure, you do taste the bouts of lavender, and it is obviously very noticeable, but it's not overpowering, and it's not like as if you're trying to eat a perfume, you know, like a perfumey taste or perfumey smell. Although you do actually smell lavender in there, but it's a very like calming and soothing type, where it's like not overpowering. Obviously, if you want more of that lavender flavor, I would encourage you to put more than 1 teaspoon to taste. And then if you're not really into lavender much at all, I mean, obviously you can also dial back from 1 teaspoon. I just think that 1 teaspoon is a great meet in the middle. You taste the lavender, but it's not overpowering type of flavor. So all in all, I think I did justice to my cookie. It is 10 out of 10. I mean, like, this type of cookie is perfect for the springtime. It's perfect to have outdoor picnics with, or like tea time, or literally any kind of type of occasion. You can bake this during the springtime or even year round if you're up for it. Just make sure that you have the lavender buds at hand all year round. And you know, if you like this video, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. If you do end up trying my cookie recipe, also let me know in the comment section below, because I want to know your thoughts on like how it turned out for you. And yeah, so in the next video, I shall see you. Bye!